Adnan, Chetan, Jigar, Jiku, Ajit, Samad, Jarat, Anoop, Akil, Mohammed Faisal, Jay Prakash, Mohsin, Mafi, Priti, Priya, Ajit, Tosh, Tushar, Ubaid, Jiku, Sir Wasim, Sir Irfan, Sayyid, Vishnu, Kam, Mohammed, Vandana, Vel Kumar, Ali Raza, Edwin, Chandra, Mohammed, Imran, Sir Arfat, Deepak, Adnan, Ajay, Batu, Ibrahim, Murli, Rizwan, Sachin, Sujit, Pomple. Hi guys, and welcome to this session. In this session on this Wednesday at 11:18 a.m., what I'm trying to do here is that basically I'm trying to give you in next 30 to 60 minutes the entire summary of what do you get in five process group. Like process groups are around which all the work happened. So understanding what happens in initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control is extremely important. I would say paramount for your PMP preparation. You cannot prepare PMP. You cannot pass the PMP exam unless you know what is in each of these areas. What happens in initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closing. Right? Every single domain has its value. What happens in initiation, you must know for your PMP exam. What happens in planning, what happens in execution, what happens in monitoring and control, and finally, how do you close the project? What are the criterias that we use to close the project? And can we even close the project ourselves or not? So we are going to discuss that and go into a little bit more detail. Throughout the session, I want it to be as interactive as it is possible. So whatever the questions you may have along the session, you are more than welcome to ask the question. I will try to answer them as we move forward. This session is live, and later on I will put the recording to watch into it. But let me tell you an interesting thing. When sessions are live, I have been into those live trainings, and when I'm watching them, I am more interactive. I'm more talking to those people. I'm more going into depth of this thing. But as soon as that thing stopped, as soon as that session is done, if there's a recording, sometime it takes me a week to go through the recording. So I will recommend you, if you are available right now, if you are watching it, let's focus it for next 30 minutes or 1 hour. I'm 100% sure this will be worth that time you invest. Okay, so stay with me as I move through the session. As I answer your question, answered and worked into that way. A very important session, and for those people who want to take it further, and this is too fast and they want to go into detail of that, for sure you can join my program if you consider it that is something you want to do. So let's go into that. Let's discuss it. I will go into my whiteboard, and I'll try to give you whatever I feel is important that you should know about the five process group. Okay, before I even go to the five process group, what do you need to know and what are the things in the five process group? I want to share few things here. By the way, if you want to move further, this is my number. You can contact with this number. Before even the project starts, like the before the projects work into that, we have need assessment. Like why do we even need that project? Under that need assessment, we make two business documents: business case and benefit management plan. Business case is all about economical part of the project, the monetary value, the money part of the project. Where is my money? What is the reason? Benefit to cost, things of those nature. Those things are covered in the business case of the project. What is the business case? Like if there are two projects having benefits and the cost, which projects I'm gonna choose? Obviously the project which has more ROI, return on investment, or the project having less payback period, mean the project can get the money back earlier. I'm going to choose that pattern project. That is something that we discussed in the business case. That is something that we discussed in the monetary part of the project, the business case of the project. Okay, then comes the benefit management plan. Benefit management plan talks about the intangible benefit, brand recognition, what does this brand represent? For example, today Apple is launching a product, right? And they have said it a week back that they are going to launch it. Now, one thing is straightforward: the monetary value, the money that Apple will be getting from that thing, that comes under the business case. But what is the value of the brand? Why people will line up in a line and wait for that product? That is a brand recognition. For example, I'm wearing this North Face jacket. I bought this like $400. I can buy the same one for $50. But to have this logo North Face is like I'm representing that brand, the customer loyalty, and things of those nature. That comes under benefit management plan. Sorry, benefit management plan. And most of the projects for the organization, business case is important, business case is critical, but benefit management plan supersedes it. Okay, but it depends from organization to organization. So you make a business case and benefit management plan. Okay, now it's a very important thing in the project. It is highly possible these things happen and PM is either involved or the project manager is not involved. Both cases are possible here. Project manager is involved, that is case number one. Case number two is project manager is not involved. Both cases are there because he still does not have the designation of the project manager in this area. I call this area as pre-project domain. This area is pre-project area. Like before even the project start, you are making a business case where you are comparing different types of project, looking into them. Okay, what is the purpose of this project? Why should I go for this project? Or you are comparing the intangible things, the benefit management plan, things of those nature. We are comparing those things. Business case, benefit management plan. Once we have chosen, okay, this is the business case that is relevant to my project, this is something, this business case and benefit management plan, let's say it is made by business analyst. I'm gonna say it BA, business analyst. He's a business guy. He made it, he shared these business case and benefit management plan to governance board. Governance board. Now, governance board, sometimes it is called as board of governance, sometimes it is called as a head department. It can have various names. The purpose of the governance board is very critical. They are the people who decides go or no go, right? Here, when you present business case and benefit management plan, we have a go no go decision, right? I presented, the business analyst presented go no go decisions. The governance board, head of the governance board is a sponsor. We call him sponsor. He can be called as a program manager, portfolio manager. Different name can be given to him, but we are calling him sponsor here. This is the language of PMI. That PMI uses that pattern language for them. We are calling him sponsor. He is the head of the governance board. So other people in the governance board can be other key stakeholders, uh, different functional managers, operational manager. They can be the part of the governance board, right? Our goal here is that as a governance board, as a person, which we are looking for the sponsors, things of those nature, we look into that way, right? So we are trying to understand the context there. The sponsor is the head of the governance board and he is discussing with them. And once they give a go or no go decision, what do you mean by go? Go mean, okay, we approve this phase of the project, we approve this patent area, now you can start with the next part. Okay, now you can start with the next part. No go area means this is the end of story, and this happens at several time in the project. Whenever a no go is given to the project, that's the end of story. You cannot escalate it further because this is the escalation mechanism. Governance board is the highest authority here, right? Sponsor is the part of that. When you reach there, that's the end of line. You cannot do further on this. So I would recommend that this becomes the important thing. Put in the chat box, is this clear or not? Is this clear or not? Put in the chat box. Okay. Governance board is here. Then we are discussing with this thing. People are understanding this thing. This is clear. Now, once this is pre-project area. Now this governance board will move us along the way. As we move forward, let's say your patent, you compare different business cases and your patent business case has been approved. The business case has been said, okay, this business case is approved. Now, what will you do? Once your business case is approved for this patent area, now you will make project charter. Project charter. Project charter is simply the most important document in your project. This project basically gives you, okay, now you can start the project. Again, the project charter will have all the constraints in the project. What is the high level? This is a high level document. Project charter is a high level document. What do I mean by high level? It will have key information about it. What are the key things in the project? What is the scope of the project? High level scope. What is the schedule of the project? What is the cost of the project? How quality will work into it? What are the key risks? Who the key stakeholders are? Like key elements are mentioned in your project charter. The major elements of the project with the key elements as the key are being mentioned in your project, right? So we are understanding this thing is there. Please note, the project has still not started. Project charter, again, who make the project charter? For easiness, I say sponsor make the project charter, but it's the business analyst job here. There you can have two scenarios. Scenario number one, project manager is the part of that organization. He actually works in that organization and he takes part in making that patent charter. Okay, he take part. First, really cold. So yeah, let me remove this. Now I will feel more cold. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So project charter, project manager is the part of the organization. The step number one can be project manager is the part of that organization and he's taking part along the way. That is the step number one. That is option number one that can be for you. Option number two is that project manager is hired after the organization. Because anyway, even if he's a part of the organization or if he's hired after in the organization, in both areas, officially he will get the designation. Officially, he will get the designation of the project manager after charter is approved. Once the charter is approved, now he gets the designation of a project manager. Now he gets, okay, now you have authority to apply resources of the project. Now you have something that you can do. So here comes a very important thing. When does the project start? Okay, here comes the initiation part, the first part. When does the project starts? The project charter is approved. Now the project is initiated. Project charter is approved. Now project is initiated. Now we are starting with the project. We are working with that. Okay, your project has been approved. Now the project is initiated. We are starting to work with that. Project charter can have different templates in different organization. For example, while we are working, I want to show you how to use AI. We started doing AI in the last project. I'm gonna show you how basically charter is approved. What are the things here? So ChatGPT. I'm gonna use ChatGPT. Okay. So it depends from organization to organization. You can use ChatGPT or not. Here I'm gonna use it. Okay. Make a project charter for, let's take an example of Ray-Ban Meta. Ray-Ban Meta is an AI glasses made by Meta. Okay, for Meta Ray-Ban glasses. Okay, it will give you what does the project charter has and what does things not have. So here is the charter for you. Project title. Okay, it's augmented reality, sponsor, Meta platforms, start date, end date. You will have what is the purpose of the project, why do we even want to start it, project objective and success criteria. It will work into that way, how we can look. Then the success criteria, objectives are there, success criteria are there, right? Just to understand, if you know what meta glasses is, this is meta glasses. This is meta AI glasses, right? So they are transparent glasses. I can take pictures with them. What's the scope of that? They are AR glasses. Out, what is not scope of glasses? That they are not headset, they are glasses. What are the key deliverables there? Then we have assumptions and constraint. We will discuss assumption and constraint log. Who the stakeholders are, key stakeholders. Here, important thing I want to mention with you guys, we are talking about key stakeholders here, right? Who the key stakeholders are, what's their purpose, how we can look into that. We are not talking about detailed stakeholders. For detailed stakeholders, we will discuss them further on in some time, right? Detailed stakeholders are further on in a different point of context. We are not talking about the detailed stakeholders here. What we are talking about, we are talking about key stakeholders here. Okay, so key stakeholders are there. Okay, so what are the high level risks, their mitigation, budget, cost, etc., etc. Okay. Now the next thing, in the there are three things that happen in initiation: project charter, assumption log, and stakeholder register. Uh, use this use above as case study and make assumption and constraint log according to PMI. Okay, now what will happen? Now this is how I'm using AI to understand the project management. How you can use AI to cover and understand what happens in each document, etc., etc. I will make all these things for you in this way. Okay, this is exactly how the case study is being developed. Case studies look into that. So some assumption and constraint log that we will look into that as we are making it along the way. That example can look into that. Okay, so you at the initiation make second thing as an assumption log. Okay, charter is approved. Now, this is an assumption log. What is assumption, category, action plan, things of those nature. So you get the assumption and now it is making constraint. Assumption is something that we are assuming it. Construction, constraint is something that is stopping us from the progress. How the scope is impacted, schedule, cost, regulatory constraint, things like that. For those people who feel that I'm moving too quickly and they want to go into more detail, they want to experience these things. We are going to have our next program on the 14th of March. You can enroll in our program, and in our program, actually, we go through each and documents that PMI has given. These are from AI, but document, uh, actual document that work into that, right? So these are some of the things that are important to work into that part, right? So that will help you along the way. I have put the link in the description. You can enroll in the program if you want to go for it. Okay, so where is my chat GPT? Yeah, so this is your constraint log. Okay, now let's the third document, project charter, assumption log, stakeholder. Okay, now while the chat GPT is making the stakeholder register, we'll look into that. Okay, but the most important thing I want to share here with you, in initiation, project charter has been made. We have our project charter at our hands. Now, second part we are doing, we are making assumption log. Assumption and constraint, which I showed you. What are the assumption log? What are the constraint log? What is their purpose, etc., etc. Third thing is we need to identify stakeholder and put them into the stakeholder register. It's a very critical thing that we need to understand. Any stakeholder that you do not identify, any stakeholder that you have missed it, that pattern stakeholder is going to damage you. That pattern stakeholder make you have consequences. So identifying the stakeholder, working with those stakeholder is extremely critical. Like identify what do they need, what is their purpose, how do they look into that, etc., etc. So we need to identify who the stakeholders are, how they are impacting the project. How do we identify the stakeholder? Now, this is a sequence I recommend that you can use whenever anything you want to identify in the project. So, how do you identify stakeholders or risk, all those things there? When you identify, first you go to the experts, have a one-to-one meeting with them, do the interview with them. Then you use focus group, then facilitated workshop. You can analyze documents. We have business case. We have benefit management plan already made. You look at OPS, organizational process assets. What are the policies of the organization? What procedures I can follow? Policies, procedure. What are the tools and templates that are available? The past lesson learned, etc., etc. Then the most important is EF, enterprise environmental factor. Who are the political stakeholder, economical, social, technical, legal, environmental? You see, EF are something that are continuously impacting the project. Understanding those EF, working with them, and defining them into a better purpose is very critical for your project. So you identify what are the EF of a certain project, and if you identify it, you can work with them. If you can work with them, you can make them better. So EF is extremely important in identifying the stakeholder. Now, what to do when you have identified the stakeholder? What is the next step when you have identified the stakeholder? The next step when you have identified the stakeholder is basically prioritize them. You can have 10,000 stakeholders in the project. Not all the stakeholders have equal importance. We need to see who have what importance and worked into that way. So once you have identified the stakeholder, which I did, the next thing would be analyze them. How do I analyze the stakeholder? I use power interest graph. I used like power interest, who has high power, high interest, right? High power, high interest, low power, low interest, high power, uh, low interest, low power, high interest. Those people who have high power, high interest, they are important stakeholder. You manage them closely. You work with them. Those stakeholder who have less power, less interest, you monitor them along the way. Those stakeholder, high power, low interest, keep them satisfied. Low power, high interest, keep them informed. You are working with those stakeholders. You are identifying how to work along them. You are trying to see what is the most effective way to work with these stakeholders. They are important stakeholders. Now, let's see the example what AI has given us. We have made a stakeholder register. I asked him AI to make the stakeholder register. Okay, this is the stakeholder register. It's an example of that. Who are the stakeholders group? You can see the role, sponsor, their interest, their influence, then engagement strategy, which we will discuss later on in the stakeholder plan, project manager, hardware. Just to give you an example of that, it can be as long as. Now this comes in planning, which we will discuss now. Okay. Now, once three things, just to recap, in initiation, three things have happened. The three things are: first thing was you made project charter, second thing was you made assumption log, third thing was you identify the stakeholder, you categorize them upward, downward, sideways, then you prioritize those stakeholders using power interest graph. Initiation is done. Okay. Now, next thing is planning. I want to work in the planning phase of the project, right? What happens in planning? What happens in planning? Now, planning is the real thing in the project management. Why I say that this is a real thing? Project management professional is all about planning. Here you are making a plan, what is going to happen, how do you do things, etc., etc. So planning is extremely critical, extremely important for your project, how you are going to manage those projects. If you don't plan your project, you are not going to work into that way. If you don't plan your project, how you are going to perform anything in the project? So planning is critical for your project. Planning is the better planning you can do in the project, the better you can work into that. For planning, we make 18 plans, and they are all part of one plan that is a mother of all, project management plan. Okay, then we also have 33 documents. I will go through them one by one. I will work with them. I'll try to explain as much as I can, okay, in this small session that I have with you guys. By the way, guys, if you want to go into more detail and if you want to get the benefit of working with us, making sure that we make sure you become certified PMP, you see, my programs are designed in a way that we work with you till you become certified PMP. Right now, what you are saying is not even the tip of iceberg. We go through every single thing in our program in extreme depth. We have made a wheel, like we love to say that it's a wheel of success. If I showed you right now, if my team can pull it up, yeah, I can see. So this is basically what we do in our program. If you decided, okay, this is something, this was good for me, but I want to do further, you get 35 PDUs. I help you in filling the application. Your application get approved. You get a customized roadmap, how to basically, what is your learning style? Are you a book reader or you don't want to read book? Whatever your learning style is, how much time you can spend. According to that, I'll make a roadmap for you. Me and my team personally do follow up with you. There will be question answer sessions, 3 to 4 question answer session in a mastermind community. People are coming. We are trying to solve the questions. Then we will have our PMP community. You get the best simulator, and all these things are just in $699. Everything is in just $699. So just wanted to share with those people who want to take it into a next level and who feel, okay, yes, let's get this thing done. I want to go for this thing. Okay. So yeah, let's go to the planning phase of the group. Again, I'm gonna use ChatGPT. Okay. The first plan I'm gonna make stakeholder plan, but that are part of project management plan. So we have a project management plan. Okay, we get multiple plans here. Charter, no, it is saying wrong. Charter is already approved. Scope management plan, you get the scope. Like there are multiple plans. I would say 18 plans. By the way, while ChatGPT is making this thing, I want to show you something. Here I explained in my article. Okay, here I put an article on this thing. 18 plans and 33 documents. All the plans in the projects are basically covered here. What do we cover in the project management plan? Scope management plan that defines what the scope of the project is. Like it starts with the requirement management plan. We collect the requirement and make requirement traceability matrix. How do we collect the requirement? It's the same way as we do collect the identify the stakeholder. We put them into requirement traceability. Then using scope management plan, we make a scope baseline. Once you get the scope baseline, then you made schedule baseline there, and using schedule management plan, then cost management plan. Then in quality, we make a quality management plan that actually defines what are the quality standards we are going to follow in the project. Cost of quality, like we are going to benchmark those standards, like we are looking into that. Then team management plan, how do you acquire the team management, how you develop them and manage them. And then of course your risk management plan that defines the process, how the risk should be. And of course you also make in planning your risk register that will have all the risk in the project. Okay, then communication management plan, 4 hour of communication. What are the right information at right time to right people to have right impact? We look into that. Then how you are going to procure the things, making procurement statement of work, that is a part of planning. Then stakeholder engagement plan. We made a stakeholder register. Now we are going to look what is the current engagement level of the stakeholder and what do we desired, right? What is the current engagement level of the stakeholder and what do we desired? Okay, we looked into that every single thing, and we tried to identify every single pertinent way into that. What are the things in the project etc., etc., etc. Every single thing, it will be worked into that patent ray. Now we are understanding these things, and we are looking into the context of those. Okay, let's go with some other plans if we have. Okay. So change management plan, how we are going to handle change in the project, configuration, changes in the product, scope baseline, schedule, cost. These combined are called performance baseline, then life cycle, project description. By the way, these plans I have already given. Then we make these 33 documents, activity list of all activities, activity attributes, uh, how activities are understanding, assumption log. I already explained that how you are estimating cost forecast. Are we on the plan, behind the plan, change log, cost estimate, issue log. Any problem that happen in the project, we put in the issue log. Then your lesson learned register. We document throughout the project your lesson, your key milestone, what assignment you are going to give to the stakeholders, project team members, your calendar, when the resources will be available. This can be called as project calendar or resource calendar. How you are going to communicate, project constraint, project schedule network diagram, scope statement, team assignment, quality metrics, quality reports, requirement traceability metrics, resource requirement, risk register, etc., etc. Team charter, very important, also known as working agreement. It's made on more in a execution phase. Let's see what do we have here from the ChatGPT. So we make a scope management plan, schedule management plan, cost management plan, quality, resource, communication, risk, procurement, stakeholder, change, integration, combining. That's a project management plan. No, there is no compliance and regular. It's wrong. Team management plan, baseline, scope, schedule, cost, baseline. We have, okay. So different plans, as we discussed, 18 plus plans are made here, right? We worked into that. What's the purpose of each plan and how those plans are worked into that way. So we have all the plans at our hand. Okay. Now in planning, we made all the plans. Now in the execution phase, execution is where the real work is done. Now your plan, all the plans, stakeholder communication, risk, quality, all the plans that we discussed, all the plans are done. Those plans go to the sponsor. The sponsor approves the plan. Once the sponsor has approved the plan, now we start working on it. Now we start execution on that. Okay. Now we start execution. When you are doing execution, deliverables are being produced, issues are being handled. A very important thing that we acquired the team in the planning stage, or we decided we want to get a virtual team or a physical team. But in the execution stage, you need to develop the team. Uh, when you are developing the team, we need to see what are the training requirement. I like to say TNA, training need assessment. We try to identify what are the training requirements of the stakeholders, identify the training requirements, and then develop them. In addition to that, we need to handle the conflict. Conflict management is very important. Okay, these documents are required to be in the project management plan. No, actually, 18 plans, project management plan, 5 is basically a combination of all plan. Project management plan is a combination of all the plans that we worked into that way. So plans are there, they are approved. Document is something that is not approved by sponsor. So plans are approved. So if you want to change anything in them, that must be there. 33 documents are not a part of plan. One is greater than zero. Yes, Zubair. Thank you very much. By the way, Faik, do put this link in the group. And Zubair, if you can also in your group, that we are live and I'm explaining 5 process group. So that if other people have time, they can also join. Okay. So while we are discussing issues are being handled, we identify the training requirements, what are the training requirements of the project, how we looked into that, we provide the trainings to them. Then as a project manager, you are assumed to be at like a servant leader according to PMI. So when I talked about the servant leader, you need to identify the training, coaching, mentoring requirement, provide them the trainings and develop them according to that. Very important. Then you need to good at emotional intelligence, EQ, which consists of 5 things: self-awareness, self-management, like know yourself, then manage yourself, social skills, then empathy, then motivation. Understanding different kind of motivational theories is also important for your PMP course. Now, in addition to that, you are engaging the stakeholder, you are conducting the procurement, everything that was mentioned in the plan. In the planning phase, we are only working into that way. We are only looking into the way how the projects work, right? We are not doing that. My team member put the Stripe link there. Okay, not this. So yeah, YouTube video live, not this one. You put the Stripe link. Zubair, you have put it Stripe link, man. That's a payment link. I don't want people to make the payment here. Okay. Yeah. So in execution, deliverable is being done, issues are being handled. We are working with the team, we are identifying what their requirements are, we are managing their resources, we are balancing the thing. Like if I say in real, the cost is being spent here, the work is being done at this part. Execution is where the real work is being done. Execution is where the things will be developed. Execution will the issue will be raised. Issues, problems are there, we put it in the issue log. Issues will be raised because here we are doing the work, guys. Okay, change request will be raised. That's execution. Next comes, now a very important thing I like to say, you make a plan, you work on the plan. In execution, you close your eyes, you do the work. Okay. In monitoring and control, you compare plan versus actual. What was planned and what is actual, and you do the variance analysis. You actually check what needs to be improved. You actually check how we can change the plan. So if I put monitoring and control here, if I put monitoring and control here, now I removed my jacket, now I'm feeling cold. Monitor and control, you check plan, what was your plan versus actual. Okay, so for example, we will discuss schedule performance index. Like if it is 1, we are on schedule, less than 1, behind schedule, greater than 1, ahead of schedule. This is called earned value analysis. We are actually measuring how we are doing schedule wise. Then we will also measure how we are doing cost wise. How many problems are occurring. We are using uh, Pareto principle, quality principles, looking into the things, how the things are working into that. We are measuring performance and we are raising change request. We raise change request, those change goes to change control board. Change control board will review the change request and they will approve, and then that's how your plans can get updated. This is what basically is happening under monitoring and control, right? uh, that's what basically happening under monitoring and control. The final step for this project, the final process of this project is closing. In closing, you can go to the closing through two things. The first thing is the project has been accepted by the client. We will discuss in a while the journey of deliverables, how it passed to the different areas, what are the things we need to look into that. But we will discuss journey of deliverables into it. Let's say the client accepted a deliverable. You go to the sponsor, ask the sponsor, hey sponsor, can I start closing of the project? Sponsor gives you approval of that. Once sponsor gives you the approval of the closing, then you start closing of the project. Then there's a sequence that comes. Or if the project is rejected, or the project is too risky, we cannot continue. The project is too challenging, we cannot continue. Both can lead to closing. So we are in closing. Now when we go to the closing, we get the sponsor approval. In both cases, we start writing the final report that will have the summary of what good, bad has happened in the project, right? What good bad has happened in the project, we discuss in the final report. We start writing down lesson learned register, we update the lesson learned register, we update the project document. Okay, we update the project documents are updated. Then we archive those documents and then we finally release that. That is basically what happens in your 5 process groups. Now, a very important thing that I didn't discuss in the entire process is your agile. Your PMP exam will be 50% plus your agile. Okay. And agile consists of agile mindsets, which is 4 values of agile and 12 principles of agile. 4 values like customer collaboration over contract negotiation, individual and interaction over processes and tool, respond to a change over following a plan, working software over comprehensive documentation. Then 12 plans that are extension of that agile. Okay. If I talk about, let's say I put agile here, 4 values, which I just said, then 12 principles, which are actually the extension of the 4 values. We need to know them for your PMP exam. And then the next thing, Scrum. Scrum is very important for your PMP exam. Like, what do you need to know about a Scrum? 3 roles. What does product owner do? What does Scrum master do? What does development team do? Right? Scrum master is the servant leader, project manager. Product owner is the one who defines the value, get the user stories. And then a development team is the one T type cross functional team that does the work, that is completing the work. T type is a cross functional team. Then we need to know what are the 3 documents or 3 artifacts which we call product backlog. That is the list of prioritized user stories. User stories are requirement, high value, high risk. Product backlog is a list of all requirements. Then sprint backlog, that has a list of things you need to do in the current sprint. And product increment, whatever is get accepted, it goes into product increment. Then you need to know 5 events or ceremonies. Like sprint or iteration is an event which is 1 to 4 weeks. Normally 2 weeks we do work into it. Sprint planning, where you plan for the entire sprint, that is sprint planning. Daily stand-up 15 minutes meeting, status sharing meeting. We discuss what you did yesterday, what you are going to do today, roadblocks like that. Then sprint review, we are reviewing the work of the previous sprint. It's a demo, and then we show to the client. If the client accepts it, that's good. If the client rejects, its problem. Retrospective lesson learned meeting. So these 5 events need to be known. Then the next thing, you need to know information radiators, like burn up chart, how much work has been completed. Burn down chart, how much work is remaining. And at any time, if you want to check, how you are gonna check. Then Kanban board, task board. Like Kanban board, identify work in progress limit, how we are doing into that. We need to understand those things. These are the major things that you need to know Agile. I am kind of giving you a quick summary of the things that you need to know. If you want to go into the detail of the program, I would recommend you can join our program. In the 6 days, I go into depth of everything. Like only Agile is 3 hours video. Like when you get the recording of that class, normally we take half a day only to cover Agile. Then like day after tomorrow will be, we are going through quality, where I just spent 2 minutes, I will be going to 2 hours there. Then procurement, then scope, schedule, cost, so many things we go into deep. And then after 6 days of training, every week we will have a question answer session where we understand how to solve the question answer. I am right now going through the content of PMP. The content of the PMP is just the surface of PMP, I would say. The real thing, if we put into the PMP exam, is how you solve the question answers, how you worked into that way, right? If I summarize the entire 5 process group, which was the purpose of today's video, one more time in the 1 minute is, you get a need assessment, you made business case, benefit management plan. These are the pre-project activities. Then you go to initiation. 3 things happens in initiation: project charter, stakeholder register, and assumption log. You start the work. Project charter basically start the work. Then you go for planning. In planning, you plan with all the 18 plans how to do something. In execution, we do it. We manage the deliverables. We produce the deliverable. Monitoring and control, we check the performance. We change the plan. We do what we can need to change. Closing, we close the project. Then project get transferred into operation. Okay. So let's say I deliver, if I put it in the form of a deliverable journey, here project charter says, okay, you can work into that. Here we make a plan how to do it. Here deliverable is produced. Deliverable goes to quality control. Quality control checks the deliverable, verifies if deliverable is good. It goes to the client. Client checks like acceptance criteria or scope baseline. They check it. They accept the deliverable. You get accepted or validated deliverable. Those deliverable goes into closing. From here to here to here. That is the entire project management for you in less than an hour. I hope today's quick summary video help you to gain the understanding of the PMP. It helps you to verify what you need to know about the PMP exam and you how to look into that. Okay, every single thing that we worked into that, this will help you into that patent area. One of the most important thing in project management is to always see what we need to know, what we don't need to know, what are the things that we can develop into that. Now if you join our program, just to give you the context what you will be getting, this program has been designed in a way that you get every single thing. If I just talk about the content, right? If I just talk about the content for a minute, 14th March, the class will start 14, 15, 16. That is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, this in this class, 14th March, I will be going through the fundamental topics and immediately I will be teaching you how to solve question answers. And then we will be making mind map. Mind map is one of my favorite exercise which actually gives you the context of what you need to know in the entire topic. And then I teach you my world famous 7-step formula, how to solve question answers, and the most importantly, how to do RCA. RCA, which I emphasize in my class, is the most important thing in my program. People go through the questions, depth of the question, and make their lesson plans. Right? Friday we do this. Saturday we cover Agile stakeholder communication team. Sunday we complete the team topic. Then we covered risk and if possible quality. Then now, for the next batch, for the first time, I'm doing one thing. The next batch is not starting next Friday. Normally, it starts next Friday, like 21. Here, for the next batch, I'm experimenting. I'm giving you one more week, right? Instead of immediately starting the next batch, I will be giving you more week, one more week to complete the assignments. Okay, one more week we do to complete the assignments, so that whatever the assignments you have, you are able to complete them, you are able to get those things, you are able to understand every single thing that are the part of the assignment. So the next class will be on 28th of March, 14th, 28th, 29th, my wife's birthday, 30th. So we will do the classes in a way so that you are 100% able to complete in these 3 days. I'm giving you 80% of the content. So you are able to complete the assignment on 29th. I'm going to help you in filling the application. The application goes there. Application is approved. You got your PDUs. If you are selected for audit, that's done. Now, this alone, this training should be more than 2000, right? But the real thing I want is starts after training. After training, now I'm working with you. I make a customized roadmap for you. How do you want to study? What are the things that you need to know? What are the requirements you need to know? Is your learning style of reading book or without books? How do you want to learn through it? If you want to learn through the books, right, I'll give you my book. I'm an author of a book that is available on Amazon, one of the best sellers. You can buy that. Or if you don't want to read books, you don't have to read book. 99% of my students, 99% of my students, they never have to read book. There is absolutely no need to read book. Depending upon your learning style and the time you give, I'll give you a roadmap. Now this roadmap is a priceless thing. This is, you cannot get it unless you join the program. I need to know you. I need to understand your requirement to guide you into that way. This is the most important thing in my program. But the next thing, the follow-up. The follow-up. This, how to describe the words? This is something on which the foundations of all PMP stand. The follow-up is something I work with you, I hold your hand, and I guide you till you become PMP. This is something I love. This is something we do. Me and my team, we do follow up for you. You see, I cannot put price tag on it, but when we do for organization, we charge up to $10,000. $10,000. It's the part of the program. Then mastermind question answer session. Every week we will do question answer session. This alone is more than $2,500, but that is the part of the program. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we go into depth of the question answer. We worked with them. If I just talk about only this thing, and this is what we do for all the students, this is many time more than the training fee or the mere small fee you will pay for the program, right? It's many time more, but it's not ending here. We are moving forward with other things also, right? You get into my mastermind community. That community is 24/7 available, where thousands of my PMPs are continuously answering your question answers. Whatever the questions you have, that community is helping you there. This is my most important thing, most valued thing I have made it. Most valued. And then this is a priceless thing. Then the simulator. The complete simulator, if you want, it will up to $350. Alone simulator is cost of half of my program here, right? And then final day tips. I'm gonna have, after this video, with a call with one of the student who have exam tomorrow, I'm gonna have a call with them, discuss with them, get a mindset call. This is again priceless thing. All these things alone in $699. Every single thing. You start, you become PMP. Register now, right? This was old, now we are reaching more PMPs. Just listen to the feedback of other people. What Hassan has to say, Ma has to say, Imad have to say, Asad, Arslan. I can go on, Madhukar, Chetan, Maha. Like, give me a country and I'll show you my PMP there. Thousands and thousands of PMP with only one goal, that how you can become next PMP. So contact me. My number is there. My email is there. If you want to become PMP, let me help you work for that. Thank you very much. If you found this video helpful, please share it at least with one person. Thank you very much. And I hope this was an important session for you. Bye-bye.
I would have not been able to clear the exam if Amir Ali would have not been there. I would have not been.
I did not believe that I will be able to clear my PMP within a month.
I don't know what to say actually, like I'm kind of like really
I got my results and I was above target in all 3 categories.
Wow.